So to explain a little bit more about the importing and exporting system that Node uses, it's good to know that the way we've defined this, module.exports and const express equals require express, this whole import export system that we've just been using without any explanation, is part of the common JS syntax. Now, it's not really important to know what that is. Much more important to actually know how to use it, but it might be nice at least to do a little bit of introspection here to understand what is happening. And so the most important thing here to know is that Express is just a wrapper around Node. Express adds a bunch of functionality on top of Node, and Node itself defines a number of objects that can be used throughout the application. And so maybe let's just go ahead and console.log a few things here. I'm just actually going to console.log module just to see what it is. Now, this is a Node object, this module object here that Node provides, and it stores a reference to the current file along with some context about it. And so that object, well, let's take a look at it first before we actually dig into it. Let's run node server.js again. And you see here that this module object has a bunch of information. It has the path to the file itself, children, the file name, and it has this exports object here. Now, this is the key thing. By attaching anything to the exports module.exports, we're making it available to any other part of our application so that they can require it like so. So when we require const voting router equals require dot routes dot slash routes slash voting, what that's doing is it's grabbing a reference to this router here that we have defined, attached a route to, and then exported. And so this allows us to use it anywhere in our application. So you'll be doing this a lot when you build an Express app. You'll be creating some code in here, some kind of module, which is essentially just a encapsulated set of logic related to a single subject. In our case, the voting routes. You export it attached to module.exports, and then you import it in the places that it needs to be used. And so by doing so, we've created a small but simple routing system that we've then attached to the slash voting endpoint. So now our application looks, whenever it receives a request, it checks to see if the route matches any of these, slash voting, slash hey. And if it receives either of these, it simply calls this callback function. If it sees the slash voting, then it sends the request to this voting router. And this voting router then goes through the same matching song and dance, finds any parameter or route that matches. In this case, this is the only one that matches, and then calls the corresponding callback function there. And so it's simple, but it's actually really powerful and flexible. And so this is why Express it just has a lot of power to it in being a relatively straightforward way to handle and define a routing system.